could forget, Stephano, of course, like many Zerg players in the day, was one to take advantage of the old Heart of the Swarm host, and I've seen many a late game, many a 30 to hour-long game with Stephano. Good times. But of course, before that, he was more known for his Roach style and his Roach play, and here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Site Delta, we have our German Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Team Little Fairy. It is ForJumy. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Zerg player, the Red Zerg. It is Stephano. The old man coming out of retirement. Let's go. Let us go. And again, Stephano, he does pop up every now and then when it comes to these big events. Let me just double check here. Yes, sporadically, you know, throughout 2022, throughout 2021, he would pop in when it comes to, like, the qualifiers for DreamHacks, he would be there. But outside of DreamHack qualifiers, again, he has been pretty inactive over the past couple of years. I'm just double checking. It looks like he, I guess, most recently played in Gamers Assembly, which was a more regional French event, which makes sense. You know, he wants to get involved in the French scene. And I actually played recently in the Basilisk Big Brain Battle. Oh, let's go. Relatively recently, played in the show match. So again, good to see him return. He actually hasn't played anything since this event, since HomeStory Cup. So this is the most recent footage of Stephano. Let's go. As of now, we do see a Hatchgas pool opener forced to take the unnatural natural. At least, again, he's aware of the meta. Again, he has been popping in every now and then. I'm sure he watches a lot of StarCraft as well. As we have ForJumy getting into his own opener as well. So far, just gain expand into the Cyber Core. Everything looking as it should. Right here, ForJumy. Just going to be checking here, making sure that we have saturation. Now, because it's been a while, I'm really curious to see how Stephano approaches this, right? Does he embrace the kind of new meta of, I say new meta, but like embrace the more standard style of like Lingbane Roach Ravager here in this matchup? There have been some players that have been dabbling in Ling Hydra, but Ling Hydra can be very risky. Depending on what you're up against, if you're up against Charge Archon, you can go Swarm Host, and I feel like that does feel a little bit up Stephano's alley. Ooh, as we have a very different opener for ForJumy. Going for a Robo opener, not a Twilight Council, not a Stargate. Okay. ForJumy spicing things up already here, and I don't know if Stephano's too practiced against this. Now, with a Robo opener, we can go a couple of different ways. Traditionally, this should be Disruptor Drop. This should be a Disruptor Drop, but oh my god, we're going double Robo! Oh, we know what this is. Or do we? This is wild. This is different. We did see Hydra whip this out a couple of days ago. Or last week. Last week, Hydra did whip out this double Robo build. Now, remember, ForJumy was in the chat. He was actually watching, and he was talking about it. Yeah, here we go. We have the Bay on the way. This looks like double Robo, double Warp Prism. Estrella has done this before, and I feel like ForJumy is going to do this as well, just because he was talking about it. What did he call it? Did he call it, it wasn't the brick. The box? I don't know. I can't, the block? Something like that. I can't remember what he called it, but yeah, from here we're going to be going double Robo. It should be double Warp Prism, double Disruptor Drop. I said double, like 4 Disruptors I'm talking about, like just mass harass everywhere. ForJumy, looking to have some fun. Looking to flex his multitasking. We'll see if he can pull it off. There it is. Disruptors are on the way. Warp Prism speed is being researched. So we're going double Disruptor first, and then we make another Warp Prism, and then another 2 Disruptors. And we're going to have 2 Prisms active on the map. 2 Prisms with 2 sets of Disruptors. And balls are going to be all over the place. Aye, aye, aye. We're going to be seeing a lot of Protoss balls here in this game, and if you're a Zerg player, you may want to look away. I don't know how pretty this is going to be. Meanwhile, Stephano, when it comes to his scouting, he does see the robo. Okay, he's aware. He's aware of the robo-based opener. He has a massive amount of lings. He's droning. We have safety spores on the way. We have a safety roach warren. So far, Stephano is going for all the right moves. This is all beautiful, right? He has spores in position just in case it was DTs. He has a roach warren for adepts. He has the tools to defend. Now it comes down to the control. Oh, so far so good. We do catch the prism. Nervous go off. One queen goes down. But a good split here from Stephano. So far, he is keeping up. He is aware of what's going on. For the most part, he's aware of half of what's going on, because here comes the next prism and the next set of disruptors. Now, I believe from here we should go into Colossus or Immortal production and into a 2-base all-in. I think it's Immortals, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, the Colossus. So from here, it's going to be Colossi. We have a Gateway Explosion and 4 up. And 4 gates on the way. 3 drones will go down. Prism does take a lot of hits, but will escape. And again, this is only one War Prism. Here comes the other. Now, Stephano has to be careful not to overdrone. Stephano, he's saturating his 3rd base, which is fine, but he needs to amass an army. He should recognize there's no 3rd. Something is wrong. There is still no 3rd base. He's getting a 4th hatchery, which is okay, but we need Roach Ravager. Another queen is going to fall. Prism did take a lot of hits. So far, good trades here. Looking at the efficiency, 4 adepts did go down earlier. We've got 2 queens and we're now back in. Nervous go off. We get 1 drone and we get up. We get 3 in total. Good connections there from ForJumy. Remember, he hasn't lost anything. No big juicy connections, but he doesn't need them. Just, you know, these small trades here and there does add up over time. Stephano joining up to 60. Oh, that's a bit much. He's getting up to 3-base saturation against a 2-base all-in. Nervous go up. Calm down, Bob. Did take down the eggs. Did kill some of those morphing in roaches. And again, the 2-base all-in is upon us. We have 4 disruptors, 2 colossus, and we are amassing immortals. Immortals alongside, I imagine, chartots or zealots. I mean, stalkers, zealots, any kind of gateway units we can muster. It's going to be a massive 2-base all-in. Stephano at the moment doesn't have the supply he needs. Another queen falls. Just queen after queen. 4 queens so far. Oh, Stephano. Okay, we have 6 overlords on the way. He should be amassing roaches. He should be amassing roach ravager from here. Oh! Oh my god. Have to be careful. Disruptors are saved. Nova's coming back in. Where's the queen? Uh-oh. There we go. The queen does come out. He's going for the drones. Going for the workers. And this time the splits are not good enough. 4 drones go down. The disruptors, they just keep gaining value. And we are building up a roach count. That is true. We still need some ravagers. And we don't have a reaction. No reaction this time. 11 workers fall. Stephano's economy is in shambles. And this is the moment. This is the moment to push. The damage has been done. ForJumy getting ready for his move out. Getting another disruptor. A bit excessive, but okay. He wants more novas. He wants more drones. Oof. Gets a queen, gets 1 worker, and here we go. Stephano is pushing. He's on 47 workers. He does have an army. He's got roach speed. He's got +1 range. Get another couple of queens. Stephano pushing in? This is not the play. Stephano pushing into a player that's going all in, pushing into novas. A lot of roaches going to be going down. Like, Papi, the army is coming to you. Like, Jesus. Stephano a little bit cavalier and does lose a lot of roaches in the process as a result. Stephano trying to rebuild his army. ForJumy, I mean, we're there at that point. We can move out. How many immortals? We have 5 immortals with this army. Additional disruptors. Nova's going to be going up. Getting more queens. It's going to be, what, 7 disruptors, 5 immortals, 2 colossi. ForJumy looking strong here. How many ravagers do we have? We have a handful, 4 ravagers here for Stephano. Got additional ravagers on the way. This is going to be a tough hold, though. It's going to be a very tough hold for Stephano. Just because of the sheer amount of immortals and disruptors. We need lings, we need lings, we need banelings, we need a surround setup. Stephano is supply blocked. And again, Stephano did bleed out a lot in the process of getting to the stage of the game. So yeah, here we go. We are pushing in. The death wall of a proto. This looks terrifying. This army looks terrifying. Not gonna lie. Ay. Like you can't push. You can't engage. Like with 7 disruptors, as long as the disruptors are kept safe, like the Road Ravager cannot push into this. Otherwise, Novas will connect. We see Stephano setting up a surround. Novas go up. Oh, big connections. This is what we spoke about. Massive connections here on the Road Ravager. Half of the army just crumbles before ForJumy. And he's looking to snowball out of control. Files, they do take down one of the immortals. But there's almost nothing left. There's almost nothing left here for Stephano. Clutch transfuse. Queens are doing what they can. They are doing what they can. We're pushing it even further. Massive Novas will be connecting. Oof. And yeah, from here, we don't even need the disruptors anymore. That's just the icing on the cake. GG gets called, and ForJumy will take game number 1. GG. Oh, ForJumy just having some fun. Going for that double robo build. Again, this is something that we've seen from Stephano. We've seen it from Australia. I think Australia kind of popularized this a couple of years ago. We've also had some of the Europeans pick this up in recent times as well, and it is quite risky, as you can imagine. If the Novas don't get any value, then things can look really bad for the Protoss, right? It's like if you're able to split, able to avoid, able to keep up with those disruptor drops, then you can, of course, minimize losses and get into a solid mid-game. Something that we did lack, something I should have mentioned as well, is that Stephano didn't really make any lings. He was very roach-heavy, and lings are important when it comes to keeping up with the disruptor, with the Warp Prism, and being able to stay under it to get on top of those disruptors, and forcing out Novas and splitting against the Novas as well. And it isn't just lings, but roach is like, it's very important to try to keep up with the movement, and it can be difficult, especially with double Prism. But it's something that Stephano was never able to do, right? He was never in position with his army. He was keeping up with queens, but not much else. And as a result, Novas were connecting left and right. Obviously, we saw some big Novas in the mineral lines as well, and it all led into that all-in. And yeah, I'm not too sure how familiar Stephano is with that either. Not too sure how familiar with the build he is, I should say. Regardless, GG, well played. ForJumy does take the first game, and now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. We all in, the all-in player. That was a questionable move out of Stephano. It's questionable. It's crazy. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have the blue Zerg player from the land of France. Oh, going for the Coma GLHF. Let's go. Down in this series, looking to fight back, looking to force that ace match. It is Stephano. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. It is ForJumy. Here we go. Again, we're going to be loading into Golden Aura, one of the smaller maps in the map pool. Hello, Mr. Probe. No shot. No shot. Are we going for a gate into Forge? my eyes are on this probe, puppy. The movement, it's scaring me. We wouldn't. Would we? As from here, it's gonna be just yeah, it's gonna just be a hatch first. I say a hatch first. Looks like there was the extractor trick, so 15 hatch. Hatch pool opener here from Stephano. Very safe, actually. Okay. Very safe build here from Stephano, and ForJumy is going to be expanding. Going to be chilling, going to be expanding back at home. We're good. The probe movement was scaring me a little bit, but thankfully everything is okay. So with this opener from Stephano, his gases are a little bit delayed here in favor of the faster hatchery, in favor of making sure the space gets up and running on location without any disturbance from the probe. Again, ForJumy being such an annoyance here. Tasing away at that hatchery. And I'm pretty sure with this build, Stephano wants to avoid lings. We'll see if he makes any, or if he just goes queens and drones on up. We'll see what approach he does have. There we go. 2 lings are being made to swat away this probe. And behind this, ForJumy getting to its expansion. Gate expand into Cybercore. Standard opener out of ForJumy. Stephano is just settling on in. Now, I don't expect ForJumy to go for the same build 2 games in a row. I don't expect double Robo, double Prism. There it is, Stargater. We have a Stargate opener here from ForJumy. So something a lot more standard. But if ForJumy feels confident, if he feels like the stronger player, then he can, of course... If he feels like the stronger player, then he can, of course, get into a bit of an all-in, a bit of something like Void Rays, double Stargate play. That's possible. It's on the table. On the table for ForJumy. In chat, I think he threw because of the bad rally point. We saw a pack of roaches attacking the opponent while the rest of the army was chilling behind. I don't think that lost Stephano the game. I don't think that was a turning point. I think ForJumy was in a comfortable position already at that point. Mistakes were made, I'm sure. Mistakes were made, but ForJumy was already quite ahead. As Adepts, they do dip into the main base. We do have the Oracle first, thankfully. Oracle first out of ForJumy. Standard game. Let's go. As the Adepts, they do manage to shade away. One of them at least does back up. Oracle production continuing, and ForJumy will be taking a third. So, despite how spicy game 1 was, this is as meta can be. This is very stock standard play out of ForJumy. Should be opening up triple Oracle into a third, into a Twilight Council and a Forge. But we'll keep an eye on ForJumy to see what his follow-up tech will be. Whether he does go Blink Stalkers, or he could have some fun with Glaive Adepts. There are options. There definitely are options. As ForJumy, just going to be dipping in between the bases. Things going to be active across the map. They do at least confirm or they should confirm the third.
Swarm forces
they dip in,
under attack.
get eyes on the hatchery, Nexus even. So Stephano, he should be feeling pretty confident to just drone up, saturate his bases. There we go, Evo Chambers on the way. This should be for +1 melee. Roach Horn as well. Oh, I say that. This Evo Chamber isn't that fast, actually. This could be +1 range. Could be another Roach commitment from Stephano. As Oracles dip into the main, but the Queens are in position. Stephano doesn't sustain any damage here in his main base. And behind this, there is Twilight Council and a Forge. This should be +1 in Blink. This could also be +1 in Charge. We have options for ForJumy. We can go one way or the other. Meanwhile, the aggression is upon us. We have triple Oracle threatening one base, and we'll have Adepts threatening the other. Actually, we're bringing everything together. But there are Queens and Lings. We don't commit, thankfully. Don't commit to the shade. ForJumy going to be respecting Stephano's position. So far, we are keeping up. And there it is. +1 range in production for Stephano, so he's committing to Roach Ravager. So far, good Queen movement. And there it is. Templar Archives and Charge. It is going to be Charge or Archon. No Blink Stalkers. Charge or Archons on the horizon. Meanwhile, the Adepts get surrounded. They will be shut down. So good catch here from Stephano. Catching the Adepts. Likewise, Oracles, they do dip into the natural waste. They get a couple of drone kills. 3 workers go down. We're going to get even more here at the third. Ooh, and it looks like we will punish this. 5 worker kills for 1 Oracle. That is not a good trade for ForJumy. So good movement overall from Stephano with his Queens, with his Spores. And does punish ForJumy. behind the Stephano. Getting ready for his own counter attack. I'm not too fond of these roaches. There we go. I'm like, I don't know what the roach is doing here, but they will pull back. Lings, they test the waters and we confirm the army. Big scout here for Stephano. Stephano, he wasn't able to... never mind, he gets into the main. Sees everything anyway. He saw the Charger Archon, he saw the Temple Archives, he's fully aware of what's going on. Is aware of the composition from his opponent. And this is where Ling Bane Roach Ravager can really thrive. We have Roach Ravager as like the main backbone of the army. Banelings can do amazingly against the Chargelots. You have the Roach Ravager for everything else. But no, okay, Stephano going Roach Hydra. Okay, this is a bold move. Oh my god. As we're getting it's a +1 air attack? Huh. Okay, you have my attention, Bobby. You have my attention. So, it looks like Stephano, he assumes that his opponent is going for a longer game. If ForJumy takes a 4th base and techs up, then Stephano can get into lurkers. The goal here is hive, tech, and lurker production. That's the goal for Stephano. Meanwhile, ForJumy getting to a really fast +1 air attack can get into a Skytoss transition quite quickly. And I'm not used to seeing it so early on here from the Protoss. For the time being, we're just amassing a greater army. There is no storm. Bear that in mind. And there it is. There's a fleet peak, and we are racing our way into Skytoss. This is a really good read out of ForJumy. So I want to believe this is intentional. Basically, ForJumy, he reveals all these High Templar. It looks like he's invested into Storm, right? When really, he cut Storm, and he got into faster upgrades, into faster tech, into faster transition, and Stephano doesn't know. Stephano has no idea. So, Stephano, he's doing a great job at rushing into Hydra Lurker Viper, that is true, but ForJumy is doing a better job at rushing into Skytoss. So he's able to keep up with the tech of his opponent. The army composition of Stephano is ideal against Ground Toss, but we're soon going to be taking flights, and Ground Toss won't be much of a thing for too much longer. There it is, carriers are on the way. Hydras have been revealed. Big scout here from ForJumy. Now he's going to have to take a defensive stance. There we go. Cannons, shield batteries are on the way. ForJumy, all he has to do is hold on. He just has to survive. Survive long enough to hit a critical mass of carriers. Defend is the name of the game for the Protoss. At this point, Storm would be good though. Like, he doesn't have Storm. And at this point, it would be nice to get it. Which at this point I would think is an oversight from ForJumy. Lunkers are amassing. ForJumy investing in more upgrades. Again, like, Stephano, now we have Storm on the way. Stephano, he doesn't know how vulnerable this army is. Honestly, this army looks terrifying, but when you realize that there are no Storms on these High Templar, honestly, Stephano could have pushed in with before lurkers. He could have pushed in with like Ling Roach Hydra, and maybe even the end of the game. Oh, big stasis traps. Big stasis here on those lurkers. At the same time, Stephano pushing in from the north. Another stasis. No, it does catch half the army. And big catches here from ForJumy, and the carrier count is getting higher and higher. Stephano cannot push in. Not anymore. Get one. Get two lurkers. Additional lurkers are on the way. No Vipers. That's a bit of a worrisome thing. Hydra Lurker Viper can deal with a low amount of carriers and low amount of Skytoss. That is true, but the Vipers are a crucial part of that. Without it, then it's so difficult for the Hydras to actually get on top of the carriers. And there we go. They've been revealed. Carriers have now been revealed. Stephano knows. And what is our answer? What do we do from here? Stephano going to be just waiting for his upgrades to kick in, waiting for +3. Trying to keep up here with the Zealot Rumbais. But again, we do need that Viper as up. Catch the Prism. Big catch. Nice moment there from Stephano. How many carriers do we have? We are on 3 carriers, soon to be 5. Storm is done. Storm is complete. Spire is now on the way. It's a bit of a late Spire here from Stephano. He is maxed. Good scout from ForJumy. Does spot the army. A couple of Hydras. We maybe catch the carrier. Up! And it looks like we barely can. Nice catch there from ForJumy. Sorry, from Stephano. Does lose a lot of Hydras, but worth it. Kills the carrier. At the same time, forcing his way in between the bases. Big storm. Massive storms. Oh my god! The storms, they melt the army, and every single Hydra is going to be going down. Every single lurker as well. This push was not it. Not from Stephano, as he loses everything. Behind this, he's remaxing on Hydra Ling, but his lurker count was reset. And again, still no spellcasters. ForJumy going for his own counterattack. We have Zelti on the right-hand side. The goal base is being taken by the Protoss. We still have storms. Storms are available. Stephano, he's hoping to try to catch his army on creep, get us around. He has a lot of Ling Hydra. Zelta being cleaned up. Stephano going for the collapse. Storms are zoning back some of those lurkers. Lurker does fall. The Hydras, they pick up one carrier. They get one. Ooh, and they're looking for another. Archons are getting picked up. Decent trade here from Stephano, but he's bleeding out a lot of units. It looks like he will get one more carrier here in the retreat. Oh, can we get another? Oh, it's so close. We get two. Big pickups. That was a big overextension from ForJumy. Lost most of his carriers. Stephano, he's still in this. The Zealot Rabbi is hurting, and Stephano's economy isn't ideal. He's on 78 workers as opposed to the 82 of ForJumy. Plus, ForJumy has the gold. Stephano needs to do something about this. He needs to deny this gold if possible. He hasn't seen. He doesn't know.
Under attack.
Meanwhile, the wall is not a wall. The Zealot Rabbi takes down a base even. The hatchery does fall. Does go down. Hydras are being caught out, but so is ForJumy's army. ForJumy caught in a really awkward position. Lings in the natural base are being cleaned up by the Zealots. And the Ling Rabbi didn't achieve too much. Where are the storms? We don't have any. But the Zealots. The Zealots are going to be good enough. We clean up the Hydras. We force Stephano back at the same time. Big warp in here in the main base, or in the third. You transfuse. We just kept alive. And the most worrisome thing here, Stephano still doesn't know about the gold. He didn't see it. He has creep, but he doesn't have control of the Zelnaga. Doesn't know how far ahead ForJumy is in the economy. So ForJumy, he can rebuild, he can remax. Zealot Rabbi going to be dragging Stephano back home. Does he? There we go. He does control the Zelnaga. He's aware of the base. ForJumy knows that Stephano knows. Still no spellcasters, still no Vipers. We have storms. We have storms available, zoning back Stephano. Pushing in between the bases, getting on top of that Cyber Core. There he is. +3 is denied. But these are expensive losses, and something I have to be a little bit critical of. I mean, so far, Stephano is pulling this off. Like, he's pulling off, like, the mass Hydra, and he's pulling apart his opponent. Do we have a recall? Do we try to recall? There it is. And can Stephano punish this? Carriers, they have arrived. Stephano cannot engage. Does have a couple of lurkers. At the same time, big Zealot counterattack. Drones are going down. There we go. The Nexus will fall. A good catch here from Stephano. Now, what I'm concerned about is the lack of air. Like, we had the Spire earlier, but no investment into the upgrades. So no air upgrades, no greater Spire, I should say, to transition into Broodlord, into Corruptor, into Infestor. Still no Vipers either. Without Vipers, like, these head-to-head fights are really brutal for Stephano. Like, he has to trade a lot of Hydras to make this work. It's not as efficient as it could be. But he's doing well. Like, he's catching carriers every now and then. Like, without Vipers, he's killed 4 carriers already. Not bad. Rumbai is pulling apart the attention of ForJumy. Oh, big storm. Oh my god. The Hydras, they get stuck in each other. Massive storms. Because the lurkers were burrowing, the Hydras, they actually couldn't move past. They did get stuck. Storms have been insane. And we're still just doubling down on Mass Hydra. Lurkers, they push on forward, they get within range, they take down an Immortal, take down 2 Immortals. But the Carriers are trading so well against this. Every single Hydra and Lurker will go down. The Carriers, they reign supreme, and they're cleaning everything up. At the same time, we do have a Hydra run by. We have Zealots, though. The Zealots, they will deal with this as well. ForJumy winning on both fronts. He cleans up the Hydras, cleans up the main army, counterattacks across the map, and now ForJumy can push. And he still has a lot of Storms in the bank. A lot of Storms are still available. ForJumy looks like he's going to be waiting for reinforcements, waiting for another wave of Archons and High Templar. That's fair. Doesn't want to overextend again. Meanwhile, Stephano has remaxed. He was given enough time to rebuild here his Hydra force. We saw those Storms. Lurkers have arrived. A couple of good shots in. This base, though, Stephano's zoned away from his own hatchery. Hatchery is going to fall. The Carriers, they just take down so many Hydras as well. Stephano trying to trade against the Interceptors. At the same time, going for another counterattack. We force a recall. Oh my god. We force a recall. Massive Storms. 1 Carrier gets picked off. Which is okay. Not ideal. You know what? We're catching more Carriers, though. Second Carrier. Third Carrier goes down. ForJumy caught completely off guard. It's going to be 5 dead Carriers. A really good moment here for Stephano. Trading surprisingly well here with these Hydras. Catching ForJumy off guard. But we can't fight. Not like this. Oh my god. Stephano, he can't fight the main army. He was able to catch him as he was retreating, but in these head-to-head fights, it's just not going Stephano's way. We'll lose everything once again. A nice Hydra counterattack, though. Finally, we get some economic damage done. We got 11 probe kills. ForJumy not slowing down, though. Stephano needs time to remax. The Mass Hydra coming in. Do we have any Storms left? We need more time. There we go. 1 more Storm. And sometimes 1 Storm is all it takes. That's ForJumy. He takes control of the low ground. At the same time, top right is up and running. Zealot run by, though, soon to be making short work of that. Yeah, Stephano, he has to respond. He has to respect it. Again, I'm really impressed by Stephano's ability here to sustain himself. Like, he's had a good enough economy here to just keep remaxing time and time again with Hydras, and it hasn't been efficient. Like you can see here, it hasn't been the best trade. 184 Hydras have died this game. 184, that's crazy. So not the best trades from Stephano, but I mean, he's kind of been making this work. Like, it's still very close. Impressive. Would I like some spellcasters? Of course I would, but regardless, impressive nonetheless. Let's catch a couple of morphing and lurkers. We see Stephano pushing in towards the left-hand side. Does catch a couple of those zealots. Big storm here towards the north. We're forcing another recall. Forcing back the army of ForJumy. Something, if I'm going to be talking a little bit about ForJumy, again, he has been having a hard time keeping his economy up and running. He lost his gold base earlier. Up until that point, ForJumy had a solid economy. Remember, he had over 80 workers. He had over 80 workers fully mining. Now he's running out of bases and he needs to expand. He needs to take another base. We have another Hydra counterattack. We catch one more of those carriers. Only one, though. The army is cleaned up. Where's the dissection? Where's the observer? Zealot Rumbai comes in. 10 more drones go down. That lurker is still such a nuisance here, picking up those probes. The Zealots are going to be buying a lot of time. They drag so much of the army back home. Lurker is still not dealt with. And we need to expand. ForJumy does need another base. Once he gets a good economy, then we can talk about, you know, a mothership and refining this army. How many carriers? 8. Oh my god. That is still 8 carriers, though. Still terrifying. Oh my god. What's more terrifying, the carriers or the storm? That's the real question. Like when you have a Hydra army like this, like the storm is brutal. So Rama gets 8 worker kills. Gold base soon to be retaken, it looks like. Once again, ForJumy trading well, picks up some queens, picks up some Hydras. Had a storm in the midst of all that as well. And you can see that I was talking about how ForJumy needs another base. That is true, he's heavily oversaturated, but likewise, Stephano has been losing a lot of drones. He's been losing a lot of workers, and you can see he's long distance mining. Stephano, he's running out of steam, big storms here on the Hydras, and you can see that over the course of the past couple of minutes, Stephano hasn't been able to remax. He's been sustaining himself for a very long time. It's been a 23-minute game. It hasn't felt like 23 minutes. It's based on the army that Stephano has. GG gets called. There's not going to be a final fight because Stephano has almost nothing left, and ForJumy will take the 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Stephano running out of steam, running out of bank, running out of resources, and ForJumy, of course, just trading too efficiently. Even though the economies were comparable, that is true, because of how the carriers were fighting, because of the constant storms as well. Stephano had to rebuild, ForJumy didn't. ForJumy was just that much more efficient with his army overall, and Stephano ran out of steam. GG, well played. Solid series there out of ForJumy, and an expected result. I know that Stephano, he has a lot of, he has a legacy behind him, right? He's a really big part of the history of StarCraft. So it's really cool to see him, competing here. But again, he isn't full-time anymore. Doesn't compete at the same level as he used to, and I mean, which is also why it's really impressive that he was able to hold his own. He was able to hold his own here, especially in Game 2. Game 1, we don't have to talk about Game 1. we don't have to talk about Game 1. But Game number 2, Stephano, against, you know, any lesser player, or if ForJumy had made any additional mistakes, Stephano was so close to breaking him. Like, I was very impressed with Stephano's ability to maintain his economy, constantly remax, constantly just have wave after wave after wave of Hydra. Clearly, the plan of Stephano was to eventually overwhelm ForJumy. Wasn't able to, but there were times where he was close. There were times where he was close, where the mass Hydra almost did break his opponent. GG. GG, well played. Whew. And with that, we have our first couple of series in the books. They are in the books here. As we quickly just switch our scene over. Oh god, that was a long one. That was a bit of a long one there, long game 2, but yeah, we do have our first 2 series done at this point. We are reaching that halfway mark in the broadcast. Up next, we have Showtime versus Spirit, followed by Skilless versus ForJumy, and we end the night with Baby Marine versus Stephano. So we still have some more Stephano action up ahead of us. And up next, we have some of the bigger names here in the group. I mentioned before that we already casted Skilless versus Spirit, and Skilless was able to bring Spirit down. Can Showtime do the same, or can Spirit redeem himself? Can Spirit fight back and, again, get a better score in this group? We'll see. We shall see. For now, as we're reaching the halfway mark, we're going to be going on a short break. Here, just to cut off the broadcast a little bit, and to refresh on water. I'm a little bit parched. I need some more water. So we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we have the second half of the broadcast. So take this moment to stretch your roaches, hydrate your hydras, tuck in your tempest, drain your disruptors, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes with our next series. See you soon.